Tires are some of the most important items that you can purchase for your truck, since they can greatly affect the way that it drives and behaves. Now, there's a wealth of information out there regarding what's what when it comes to different tire choices. But today, I want to distill it down, give you some key points to consider when you're choosing new tires for your Tundra. Now, this is information that will be applicable to all years and generations of Tundra, so no matter which one you've got at home, you're still going to be able to utilize this info. Tundras typically come from the factory with some pretty mild street bias tires. And the tires that we're taking a look at today are still going to work well for daily driven trucks. They're just going to be a little bit different. We'll dive more into the specifics of each as we get further into the video, but the tires we're about to discuss will bring you a more aggressive look and some improved capabilities as far as off-roading and adverse weather conditions. So they're more capable than what you get on your truck from the factory. And there's some good options and some other things to consider that are going to help you find something that will suit your needs and the way you want your truck to look and be used. So with that, let's get into it. We'll start with the most mild of the bunch, all-terrains. Now, all-terrains, commonly referred to as ATs, are really well suited to a daily driven truck. They're super popular with our customers for exactly that reason. They offer solid on-road handling while still being capable of tackling some rougher terrain. And a great example of an AT that's very popular with our customers is the Milestar Patagonia ATR. ATs in general have larger tread blocks than your factory tires. They're a little chunkier, they're more aggressive looking. You're going to notice quite a bit of siping in the blocks and slightly bigger distances between the tread blocks as compared to your stock tires as well. Now, all this will make for less road noise and better on-road matters as compared to more aggressive tires, since there's less open space in the treads and more rubber meeting the road. They are going to be a little bit noisier than your stock tires though. The Patagonias are also M+S rated, meaning that they're designed to be used in all weather conditions, including snow. Now, most ATs are given this designation as well, as they are designed to be able to handle all weather conditions, again, making them a great choice for a daily driven truck. It's going to see all kinds of different conditions. As with anything in life though, there has to be a compromise somewhere. Now, for ATs, they're going to reach their limits faster out on the trail versus something more aggressive like mud terrain. And that's simply because there isn't as much space in between the tread blocks for rocks, debris, and mud. So they're going to tap out a bit quicker when the going gets tough. What they might give up in off-road capability though, they more than make up for on-road. Since more of the rubber is contacting the road versus something like mud terrain, ATs are going to have better on-road grip than something more aggressive. They're going to be pretty close to what you would get from your factory tire. They also tend to have a longer tread life than more aggressive tires too. They've got a bit of a harder compound. They're typically 2-ply in construction, and they also tend to have longer mileage warranties. The Patagonia ATR, for example, has a 50,000-mile tread wear warranty, so you can expect them to last a long time. Now, that compound and the smaller tread block, again, are also going to equate to less noise out on the road versus something aggressive, and ATs tend to be a little bit louder than your OEM spec all-season tires, but they're not going to make as much noise as something like a mud terrain. Now that's going to bring us to the hybrids, sometimes referred to XTs or some variation thereof. Like that name implies, these are going to strike a balance between an all-terrain and a mud terrain, and they combine some of the best of both worlds into one tire. This is going to give up a little bit of road manners and on-road grip versus an AT, but will get you closer to the off-roading capabilities of a mud terrain. So while hybrids will also perform well for a daily driven truck, they're ideal for one that sees a pretty even mix of both on and off-road. For example of a hybrid, I chose the Atturo Trailblade XT. The tread blocks themselves tend to be a bit larger, with some siping, but a little bit less overall than an AT. Hybrids also feature larger spaces between the tread blocks to allow for more channels by which debris, such as mud, can escape. But overall, it's not a huge difference. So you maintain some or even most of the on-road grip, but you get a bit more off-roading capability while also retaining grip on the road in adverse conditions such as snow. Like mud terrains, hybrid tires also have some tread that extends onto the sidewall in most cases, and that's going to equate to better grip in some tougher situations. This also helps strengthen the sidewall, so despite having a softer compound versus an AT, a hybrid like the Trailblade XT is going to be a bit stronger out on the trail, but it will wear faster out on the road. Expect between 35,000 to 45,000 miles out of a set of these in the best conditions. Now, the Trailblade XT in particular sports a 45,000 mile warranty, so it's only 5,000 miles less than the Patagonia ATR we just mentioned. Now, while that compound and tread pattern is going to equate to a bit more noise and a bit less grip out on the streets, losing that on the street will be made up for in the off-road capabilities. So the hybrid terrain tire is sort of a Goldilocks, a jack of all trades, if you will. While it's not going to be a master of any one thing in particular, it's a great combination. It's going to get most drivers wherever they need to go with ease and comfort. They won't compromise as much out on the street, and they'll give you a bit of an edge versus a comparable AT out on the dirt. Now that brings us to the Mud Terrain, or MT. Now Mud Terrains are by far the most aggressive of the bunch, and I think the difference is pretty stark here. Now these are going to be the undisputed off-road kings, and they do well on more intense trails and in more intense situations. Many of our customers also like these just for their aggressive look and their cool tread patterns, but there's a lot more to them than just good looks. As with anything, there has to be a give and take, such as the theme of a tire. So Mud Terrain is going to give up some ground in on-road manners as compared to an all-terrain or a hybrid, but it's going to be much more capable out in the loose stuff. For an example of a Mud Terrain, I picked the popular Nitto Trail Grappler MT. You can see right away that these are more intense and aggressive than the AT and XTs we were looking at earlier. The tread is the most obvious differentiator, as MTs feature extra large, chunky tread blocks, and most of those now even extend further onto the sidewall versus some of the hybrids. Those chunky tread blocks look super cool and they make for some serious chops out on the trail, but that does mean they're not going to be as capable or as well mannered out on the pavement. Mud terrains tend to be louder because of those tread blocks and the reinforcements within the structure of the tire itself. Now that extra reinforcement and the strength of the tread is a boon off-road, but it's going to make quite a bit more noise on the road than an AT. It's also going to net you some lower fuel economy too. Mud terrains tend to have an overall softer compound, so that means they're going to wear faster too, so you should expect to chew through those faster than less aggressive tires if you're running them primarily on the street. As a repetitive theme here, there is a compromise somewhere. For mud terrains, it is their on-road manners. Now that's not to say that they're intolerable out on the street. They've gotten a lot better over recent years, and many owners run them on daily driven trucks without issue, and they love them. And if you're planning on hitting some trails, nothing grips like a mud terrain. Those huge tread blocks sort of work like paddles, and the stiffness that makes the noise out on the street makes for a lot more capability out in the loose stuff. Those tread blocks can really dig in, give you lots of traction when the going gets tough. And there's a lot more space between the tread blocks, which is going to help push dirt, debris, and of course mud out of the center of the tread and keep you moving. That's the whole goal here. Now the sidewalls on mud terrains are typically reinforced as well, and that's going to help keep the bead and resist punctures over rocks and other obstacles, despite being a softer compound overall. So even if you air these way down for rock crawling, they're going to deform well when you climb over obstacles, but they won't as easily pop the bead or get a puncture like an AT or an XT would. All that to say, tires are one of the places on my own vehicles where I believe it's worth spending the time to do your homework, and it's also worth spending a bit extra for a quality part. And while we obviously can't cover all of the tire choices we offer on our site in this one video, hopefully you found this helpful and a good place to start. ATs are a great choice for any truck, especially a daily driver. They're going to give you some more capability when the going gets tough, but maintain on-road manners. XTs or hybrids will be a great choice if you're doing a more even mix of street and off-road driving. And mud terrains, of course, will be the kings of the hill if you're hitting some harder trails or terrain. But any way you slice it, your Tundra is going to look beefier and will be much more capable than how it came from the factory. We've got a lot of good choices on our site for you, in addition to the ones that we covered in the video here, and feel free to call in to one of our wheel and tire experts if you need more help narrowing down your choices. Leave us a comment below, let us know what you're thinking about putting on your Tundra and what else you'd like to see. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more product videos and content like this. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Tundra, be sure to keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.